Hello.
Hello. And hello, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Sonrisa podcast. I have a wonderful guest with me, somebody I really like enjoying my time talking to, and somebody who I feel is doing a really good job in our community for really like creating a lot more connection with everybody. I know you've been really out there recently with social media and like getting a lot of feedback from people in your community. So I really admire that, and something I want to reach out to do as much as you do.
Thank you.
And so, first, for anybody who's listening who doesn't really know who you are, would you just like to give a general
Sure,
description of
that
who you
feels
are?
weird. No, it's still, sometimes it still feels weird. I don't feel like a public figure. But I guess sometimes in a way I am. So, hi everyone. My name is Marissa Rivera. Marissa Rivera, if you want to. I know I don't speak Spanish, but it's okay. I can pretend.
It's okay.
I'm predominantly a Zouk dancer, but I dance a little bit of everything. I started dancing 15, 16 years ago. I was actually a more jazz and hip hop dancer in high school, and then when I got into college, I found modern dance, absolutely fell in love, but was horribly cross-trained, so I had this debacle of I know a little bit of everything, but I'm not a master of anything.
Oh.
And I found salsa.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I danced salsa as a kid because I'm half Puerto Rican. So danced with my father in my little room, and I started learning it formally. Got into the social dance community. Found bachata, really liked it, and then I met this awesome dude named Anthony Mina and said, "Why aren't you a Zouk dancer?" And the rest is history. I went to my first class, absolutely fell in love with it, and I've been doing it for the last 5 years.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thing that you've really gotten into, because that's something I don't really know. I only met you a little bit later on, once you were really growing into the dance scene, especially really once you grew into the Zouk community. So I was wondering how curious was that to get into Zouk, because I knew even when you started it was very, very small.
It was very small. It was super small. So I love salsa and bachata. I love partner dancing. I love social dancing. When I follow and even when I lead, now that I lead, it feels like breathing and I don't have to think about it. Yeah. So I was like, I want to do something like that. Mm-hmm. When I found Zouk, it was literally modern dance mixed with Latin dance. And I was like, the holy grail. Yeah. Yeah, literally. And it was like, oh my god, I still have, back then I used Snapchat. I don't use Snapchat anymore. It's for you young kids. No, I'm just kidding. And anyways, but I still have the picture of the Snapchat. I came home, it was Thanksgiving Day. I came home at 6 a.m. from dancing all night Zouk. Wow. And watching it all night, and was I literally cried on the way home because I was so fulfilled. I was like, oh my god, this is my thing. But there was nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, learning that must have been really, hard at the time.
Yes. So there was only 2 camps at the time. There was the LA, Shani, Evo and Shani, and then there was Juana in Orange County. Mm-hmm. And I was smack dab in the middle in La Mirada, so it was good at that point. Yeah. But I had taken my first class with Shani, and, she had a team, and at the time I was like, okay, I want to get into the social dance team stage, and I literally went head first. And at the time I was dancing a lot of bachata. I actually was on 3 teams at the time when I started learning Zouk. So I was on Ama Latina's intermediate team with Carol and Zueli. I was on their intermediate team and their not semi-pro. Intermediate, and I was on 2 other teams. Yeah. I don't remember the ones, but I was there. Yeah. And I also was doing Evo and Shani's ISDC Zouk team. And their Kizomba team for a smidget also.
Yeah. I remember, that's around when I really started meeting you.
Yeah. So at a point, Shani asked me to be a part of her instructor team. She was going to start doing a program, and she wanted to, she asked me to be a part of the team. And I had this choice of, do I stick with bachata and really train and get my foot in the door there, or do I be a part of this really cool dance movement and build it? Yeah. And I picked the harder one. And I picked the harder one because I really believed in it, and I saw like, I wanted to be a part of a movement. I wanted to be a part of something, and I saw ISDC as like, if they grew, I grew. So I went everywhere and did everything. So they only had like, they honestly only had one class. Like, so there's only Yvonne Shunny's class and Juana's classes in Orange County. I couldn't go to the Orange County ones because it was on days that I had rehearsal. So I was only going to Yvonne Shunny's classes. I want to say they were on Tuesdays. Tuesdays or Thursdays at Blackbird Studio up in Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was driving to Hollywood and Sherman Oaks at least 2 to 3 times a week.
Yeah.
When I lived in La Mirada, went to school in Walnut, and was in a dance program at Mount Sac, I would finish rehearsals there and go up to class every week.
Wow.
Because I was just like, give it to me! Like, I wanted to learn everything that I could. And at the time, there was no, like, levels or anything like that. Yeah. It was just a straight-up workshop class.
You just more or less what we have in the salsa bachata.
Yeah.
Like, no one's, like... I think that's actually something that's I like about the Zouk community that they've, like, started doing. It seems like you can tell, like, everyone's, like, levels and stuff versus... Like, and I know, like, it's... I know Europe does it a little bit with salsa and bachata, but, like, I kind of wish bachata and salsa would do that a little better just to, like... Because there's like things that I feel people aren't like really learning as they're like progressing in salsa bachata. There's a lot of things that get left behind, and almost I feel like taking it in like a structure like that, it teaches you like, oh, there's probably before you get to this level, you need to know some of these things you might be leaving behind.
Yeah. So now and that's also a little bit of a fight that we have in the Zouk community too, because there's like grass is always greener, right?
Yeah.
So they implemented the Jack and Jill system into like the Zouk community, and that's really prompted this level, which is cool because it really gives those passionate dancers, those extreme hobbyists, a goal. Of what they want to do, and then eventually, if they even want to get into the Zouk community and become instructors and grow it,
Yeah.
But there's some people that aren't extreme hobbyists, and there's some people that want to just get their foot in the door and actually just try something, So, although it's good.
Yeah, there's benefits to it.
There's benefits to it. There's benefits to saying, hey, this is a just try it class. Yeah. And then there's benefits to, hey, you really like this? I have a beginner class. But some people don't want to commit to a 6-week course or a 6-month course.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just the commitment to time and stuff like that. Like, some people, it's just their hobby.
Yeah, exactly. Time and money.
Yeah.
And I've done both styles of classes with both Evo and Shiny and both with Zouk Vibes. Yeah. And all of them have their benefits, and all of them have their not benefits. Yeah, so it's good and bad.
It's good and bad, and I see that point. But as far as like going into like the instructor side, since obviously that wasn't there when you first started.
Yeah.
Like, how was it to like? Because I'm even curious like how you got started into your whole path of like teaching. Because obviously you mentioned that you got introduced to Evo and Shani's like teaching thing. Was that when you first started teaching it, And is that what led you eventually for your trip to like Brazil to learn from?
First started teaching in general, or first started teaching Zouk?
Well, I'm curious actually. And did you start teaching before that? Because I actually don't know too much about. Like, I didn't know if you like ever helped out with instructions at all, even before that. I only started seeing you as an instructor during the Zouk community.
Sure. Yeah, that's when I started like putting myself out there, I guess you could say. So I went to school to be a dancer, to be a dance teacher.
Oh, okay.
So I have a dance teaching certification from Mount Sac. I went through their dance program. So I've taught jazz, I've taught ballet, I've taught salsa, I've taught Latin dance, hip hop. Not very well, but I did it. So I've taught a lot. I mean, if like teaching experience all over, not just Zouk, but just all over, or just overall, all over. Overall, that's the word I'm looking for. I probably have like 10 years of teaching experience, just thinking about everything that I've done. So I knew that I wanted to be a dance teacher, but I didn't know what style I wanted to continue to teach. Because I went from being, I want to be a high school teacher, and then I realized, no, I don't want to do that. And then I was like, well, maybe I can be a college teacher. But to be a college teacher, you need, at the time, they changed it from having a bachelor's to needing a master's.
Oh.
So you need to get a master's in dance. And I was like, I'm not sure if I wanted, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do that. Yeah, and then also, because I was so cross-trained, I didn't have necessarily, like, the technical level where other dance companies would maybe accept me. Yeah. And it was just hard to get the foot in the door. So then I was like, well, I want to be my own boss. Yeah. And I still want to be my own boss. Yeah. I still kind of am my own boss in a way. But I realized I was like, you know what? I actually want a dance studio. Yeah. And that's like still like on the back burner.
A goal of like something you want to reach.
Yeah, exactly. So when I found Zouk, and I was like, oh my God, I'm in love with this. Yeah. And then I was kind of going through the transition, doing both the teams, filling it out. And when Shani offered that to me, I was like, well, shit. It was kind of like perfect because it was everything that I was thinking about doing already. So I was like, okay, let's do it. You know, I killed myself doing it.
Clearly, all the driving back and forth.
Yeah, the driving back and forth, and the training, and like, and also just like what you're saying, you know, you didn't start seeing me as an instructor until like,
about that point.
Yeah, I did a lot, like, not only was I going and taking class and being in rehearsals 2 to 3 nights a week with just Zouk and kids, kids too, I guess. Yeah. I was doing that also. Yeah, fun fact, I taught kids for like a minute. Yeah. I'm not a kids instructor anymore.
It's okay, we both need to go back into that community.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love it too, but that's side note. Anyways.
That's for fun, not like what you're like.
Yeah. But like, not only was I doing all of that, I was going out at least 3 to 4 nights a week, because for me, going out and showing my face was like my job. Yeah. So when you start teaching, you kind of have to, especially in the social dance community, you kind of have to prove yourself in a way.
Yeah. Cause, it's like, I mean, it kind of goes into any kind of business. I feel like you need attention. Without attention, you don't have anything. And so, obviously, once you have everyone's attention, then you can prove to them like how good of a dancer and good of an instructor you are. But I get that point.
Yeah. So like, basically, long story short, I do that. I'm sorry. When Shani offered it to me, I was like, okay, let's do it. And I just went head first. Like, I was 25 at the time, and I was like in this kind of mid-20s crisis of what am I doing with my life?
We all go through it.
Right? I'm currently going through it as I'm running into 30.
Don't worry, you're gonna break that right through that wall.
I have to. But yeah, like, I was like, I love this. This is what I want to do. And I went headfirst into it, and I did everything that I could possibly do to learn, to grow, to show that I was worthy, to be in the space, be in the community, grow ISDC, because I was a part of the company. Yeah. I saw if they grew, that I would grow. Yeah. And I was really committed to that. And yeah, so I'm sure I'm way off of what you actually asked me.
So no, you're let me pull you back. So I was asking about your whole going into the teaching and like getting like really invested into that, and how that, especially your opportunity with Ivo and Shani's team led into like eventually going full on and like going all the way to Brazil for teaching.
I just went crazy. Like, literally, I just went crazy. Yeah. I like when we did the teachers training, or we were going through the teachers training, they were saying, "Hey, we're going to Brazil."
Okay, so they rose the opportunity.
They rose the opportunity, and they were basically like, we were going to set up a training with Hanata Pasain. Yeah. So I actually did a teacher's training while I was in Brazil the very first time. I did. It was like almost a week, if I can think about it. Maybe like 3 days, but it of
like training down there, like.
No, of training with just Hanata for that teacher's training.
Oh wow! So just you and her, or
no, it was like a little, a small group.
Very, very small.
Yeah, so it was me, Hinaldo, Stephanie Estrin, and Walter. Black Power Ranger.
Yes.
Everyone knows about that. Sorry, Walter. But it was, it was the four of us. And then of course Evo and Shunny. And, it was right after the, Rio Zouk International Congress. Yeah. So we went to the Congress first. Mm-hmm. And then right after that, right after the Congress, that week we did the training. So I went to the Congress, took all the classes, did my first, not my first. Is it my first? I don't think it was my first. It's a lot of questions. But
it's fine.
I did my first international, I guess you could say, Jack and Jill there. Okay. I did a novice one. And yeah, so it, like, Shunny arose the opportunity to go, and when I went, it was like the best thing I ever did. It was very humbling. Yeah. I came back not wanting to dance Zouk, actually. Felt super defeated, because people down there are amazing. I'm sorry. That didn't happen.
You're fine.
Sorry. Anyways. It's like my ringtone, you should put that in there. Oh, I'll probably gonna leave that in there. But yeah, so I was working at AT&T at the time. I actually took a leave of absence, for a month, a little over a month, to go to Brazil. And when I came back, they were not happy, because I kind of went over somebody's head to make sure that I could go.
Oh, wow. Okay. I mean, you took your opportunity. I don't think that's a bad thing.
You don't say no to me when you have already said yes. That's basically what happens. The manager had approved it. I paid for everything, and then this new manager comes in and was like, no, you're not going. I'm like, yeah, I am.
Yeah. And either way, like, I don't, like, especially because this is something you really want to go for your career. Like, that's a cost that's like 100%. I would never give that chance up for that.
Yeah, exactly. So, I took my leave of absence, and I went for a month, and I came back home, and I was like, not so sure if I wanted to continue to do it, because I was thoroughly humbled when I went. It took me about a month for everything I learned to, like, settle in my body. Because I didn't just go to one Congress and then the teacher's training. I trained at Hanata's studio for the whole month also, and I took privates while I was there. Yeah. So I was training really hard. Yeah. And still have videos. It's great.
Oh, that'd be nice to share. Yeah. To show you like your growth from your start.
No, I looked not too long ago, and it's so cool. It's really it's cool. And it's humbling.
Yeah. I wish I had more of that of myself, because I've been dancing salsa bachata for the last 12 years now. Yeah. And I don't think I have a single video past 6 or 7 years ago. So the first 4 years, I have no footage of how cringy bad I was at doing this.
I have a very cringy bad salsa video of me that I saw not too long ago, and I was like,
because it's funny, because especially even where we are now, sometimes it's nice to get that reminder. Sometimes we feel like we get stagnant, but looking back at some of those videos, we're like, oh no, I've learned a lot.
Yeah, no, I actually had that moment like on Monday, and I posted the video even, and I was really surprised at that. But it was the first time that I watched myself dance and was like, oh my god, I look like an actual woman and not a girl. Yeah. Because I mean, I feel like I look like I'm 5 usually, and I'm about to be 30. Fun fact. I feel like I look like I'm 5, and because of my look, a lot, unfortunately. Yeah. And also because it's not that I'm not mature, I just have
I love your, more lighthearted personality.
Yeah, but the lighthearted, unfortunately, gets seen as this, I'm a girl.
Yeah, but, I mean, there's only so much you can, change other people's judgment. Yeah. You can, anybody who spends any amount of time with you will realize that that's not true.
I hope so. And so, yeah. I hope so. But yeah, so I have that. So, but yeah, it was the first time that I actually saw myself dancing where I was like, 1, I look like a woman. 2, holy crap, I can do that. And and 3, it was cool. It was it was a little gratifying. It was I could actually take it in and be like, damn, I know how to do that.
Yeah. And then definitely going back to obviously finishing your whole month in training and stuff like that, and feeling defeated. How did you combat through that and stuff? Because obviously going into teaching, and one of the reasons why I'm bringing it up is because I know a lot of people going into teaching and honestly not even putting that amount of investment into teaching, and so that's probably the hardest part when you especially when you really go into the teaching route and you really care about learning the stuff well.
Yeah.
And being exposed to a lot of people who are sometimes even a lot better than where you are now. How do you go from there and keeping yourself motivated to keep going after that?
Yeah, it was really hard. I'm not gonna lie. I had many moments where so I went to Brazil twice over 2 years. First off, at that time there still kind of is. There was that big people are just dancing for 2 or 3 months and then becoming a teacher.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of in that realm. Yeah. I got asked to start teaching with Ivo and Shani after being on their team for 6 months.
Okay.
But I also had a dance background.
Yeah.
I also was going to school to be a dance teacher.
Yeah.
So I had that background.
You even if you were new to the dance style, you weren't new to dance and not new to teaching.
Exactly. But I would not have started teaching Zouk if I was not told by someone higher than me that I could teach.
Yeah.
I was giving a blessing by someone that and still to this day that I hold in a very high regard, that I could start teaching.
Yeah.
I was actually asked by 2 instructors.
Oh wow. Okay.
They both wanted to train me. I obviously chose Shani because I had been training with her longer, so I felt more loyalty to her, and I felt that was the right decision. But I wouldn't have started teaching if that had happened.
Yeah.
When I came back from Brazil, I did feel really defeated because of all of that chatter of, well, you've only been dancing this long, And then also on top of that, I was watching other upcoming instructors that were kind of doing the same thing as me, but I maybe didn't see how much training they were putting behind them. And I kind of felt like I'm doing so much and not being recognized for what I'm doing. And in hindsight, that could be a little, what do you call it? Maybe vain or whatever.
Yeah.
But it when you spend $2 to $5 grand to go to Brazil to actually train in something, and then you see someone else that maybe has not done that same thing getting better recognition than you, it sucks.
Yeah.
It just does.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that comes from a little bit of expectation. You've done a lot of teaching something and not enough people knowing you for the instructor part, compared to them.
Yeah.
Who, I don't know who this person or these people are that you saw, who are, you put on a pedestal thinking that they're better than you, but what if they really weren't? What if people got to their classes and either weren't learning really anything or even potentially learning things that they need to unlearn later?
Exactly. I was very lucky. I have a really great partner. Hinaldo is very humbling sometimes, because I'm very much we have to do everything now. And he's very more if you have the better product, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to get it in my head, but after a while it did. It finally did. Because I would have students that would come to me and basically say, I went to this person's class and I didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen so much anymore. I think all the instructors around us are amazing now. Yeah. But I had that happen, so it was, it gave me drive. Yeah. It gave me a purpose.
Yeah.
I think for me, teaching has always been this, I want to make someone happy. I want to give them the passion that I have. I want them to see and feel the passion that I have, and I want to make a difference in someone's life. If they have a crazy 9 to 5 and they come to my class and they're happy for that hour, 2 hours or whatever, then I've done my job. So, when I was getting that feedback, that is what really drove me to continue.
Yeah.
That is what really pushed me to keep going. I have spent a lot of money. I'm very much in debt.
It's okay, we all are.
as many dancers I'm sure are, but like you guys can't see this, but like I have, those trophies that remind me of like how much I've done and how far I've gone and that I'm worthy of doing this. Yeah. So it's a daily battle. Yeah. It's something I'm currently very much like in this existential what am I doing with my life and career moment, but the thing that drove me the most to continue and to keep on going through everything was the fact that my students would come to me and say, because of you, I kept doing this. Yes. Because of you, I kept going. Because of you, I didn't give up. Because of you, you made me happy. Yeah. You made me different. So, like, those things is what kept me going. That's what feeds me. Yeah.
If anything, I value that more than those trophies that are sitting
For sure. Those at the moment don't mean a lot to me. Because I'm still intermediate Jack and Jill stupid. But anyways, that's a whole other thing.
No, and that's the other funny thing that I think that's a funny thing that like a lot of people tend to do, especially once they like get to the point where like they do it and they like honestly have to look themselves in the face and realize, okay, I'm not as good as I thought I was. Yeah. And I think it's because a lot of us, and it's part of the reasons why like you're feeling that crisis in yourself, and a lot of us do it at our age because I'm only like a few years younger than you. 3. Yeah. I'm 27. Sorry, I forgot my age for a second.
No, you're fine.
but yeah, and so it's one of those things that it's more of a recent thing that I've like come to realize like. We're in such a rush, we forget to enjoy where we are. And I feel like it's one of those things like people forget like this doesn't like, especially with what you're aiming for, being like a well recognized instructor and like being an all around great dancer, both as a teacher and as just a performer and all this stuff. Sure. That takes a lot of time. And I mean, obviously you've only been doing Zouk specifically for what now?
5 years. 5 years. Literally, it was just my 5-year Zoukiversary. Yes, I said Zoukiversary. In just like this past week, November, because it was Thanksgiving 5 years ago.
Yeah, and so like it's one of those things like there is no timer. There's no set deadline. Like if I don't have this and that by age 30, like
you know what? Also, like I was just kind of like even feeling this the other day. I don't come from a family of wealth or anything. All my college I had to pay for, financial aid. I worked at AT&T for 5 years and it was a great job, but I really put myself out there and I paid for everything. Yeah. I paid to go to Brazil. Yeah. I did have help my first time. I did do a GoFundMe. I was like, guys, help me because I really want to go. But I did fundraisers to go to Dominican Republic with I'm a Latina, but like what was my point with this?
The whole 30 and
one of my students and like a dear friend, I even feel like she's like my daughter. I call them my Zouk babies. Sarah Perez is in Japan right now. Holy
amazing.
crap!
Yeah, I see that and I'm like, wow.
My God, this 21-year-old just dancing, doing her thing, and I envy her. Yeah. Because I wish that I had that sensibility when I was that young to just go and do it. Because every single time I wanted to do something like that, what held me back was like, oh wait, but I need to finish school. Yeah. But wait, I need to finish this. Because by this age, I need to have this. By this age, I need to do this. And by this age, I want this. Yeah. So I can't do this right now. Yeah. But if I had done those things, I would have. You can do it later. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because it's that and I like come to understand that comes a lot from the mentality from a lot of times it comes from our parents or like society in general because a lot of those adults who are in our lives like to them they grew up in a society where like you retire at 65 or whatever. Yeah. Like that's no longer the case. We know a lot of people in their 60s currently who are still working
because they have to.
And stuff. And not only that, but they're living longer and stuff like that. Like obviously we're already at a point that we almost guarantee will live like easily past the age of 90, probably 100, because of the way like technology and medicine is going. So like we're literally not like we're barely even a quarter through our lives, like realistically. And so I like it's one of those things like, and especially when you're looking like at somebody who is as young as like Sarah, who like I'm super like happy for her and thankful.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost a mental training thing of like not looking at it as envy, but just as general happiness that, hey, I'm glad you got to see what I couldn't see when I was that age, but also that, hey, I'm still like, even if I'm X amount of years older than you, I still have time to do X and Y things.
Yeah, and like, because I have those like benchmarkers. When I was 21, I want, okay, by 25, I needed to do this.
Yeah.
And now like I'm 25, by 30, I need this.
Yeah.
And I have not hit all of the things that I wanted to do because I've like ebbed and flow and I've changed a lot. Who I was at 21 is completely different from who I was at 25, and who I am at 25 is completely different from who I am right now.
Wow.
And I'm even currently changing. I'm finding so much more about myself, especially in this last year. This last year has been particularly hard, but it's really challenged me to figure out like who I am.
Yeah.
And like see the faults that I've made, see the see that I'm not a perfect person, that I'm not, maybe not even sometimes a good person, but I try to be.
Yeah.
And like you have to go through those things to learn. And there's definitely this like societal norm that by the time you're 30 you have kids and you have this and you have that and da-da-da. And of course I would love that, and of course I want that. I want that in the future. I want a family. I want to be settled. I want to have my career and all these things. But there was, with the life that I had, how I grew up, and the cards that I was dealt, it wasn't possible. Yeah. It just wasn't. Yeah. It like, there's no way of saying that it was possible. It just wasn't.
Yeah, you know? and even if you didn't want to, like, I think that would be perfectly okay. Like, I don't think any of us should like judge anybody for the way they want to like live their life at all. And I feel like that's super important. And it's just like a hard thing that like I'm trying to learn, like not even just to judge myself less, but also to, like even sometimes in the background of my head of judging others less for not, striving for more and stuff like that. And so even reeling this back into like teaching and stuff, that's something even like, that's why I like getting a little bit of perspective from people who are instructors and stuff, because I'm curious of like what you go through and like whether or not other people who want to become teachers or are teachers and they don't like realize like, hey, these other people are putting this much effort and work because they value it this much. And and for all I know is I can't see them, and that's the thing. Like and sometimes you do get pushed into teaching probably sooner than you probably are ready to. Just because you have a lot of times a lot of people see the potential in you. And so sometimes you do have to go through that rough start. And I feel like and that's where like it gets hard. Like sometimes I feel like as much as I want to promote instructors to really know what they're doing and take the time and effort and money or whatever to invest in really becoming a good dancer, a good teacher, because they're both separate things.
Yes, they are very separate.
Very separate. That I wish if like as much as I want them to do that, it's their journey. They should do it. And sometimes people kind of have to be cruddy teachers, but that's why like I feel like people aim for too high. They aim for something too much. So like if you're an instructor who really doesn't know enough, it's just my intuition. Like I don't recommend that you should teach anything beyond the simple basic things that I don't want you to teach things that you did it once or twice and you got it right. No, I want you to think you can't be wrong. That's what you should be teaching. But you should start off or focus mostly on.
Yeah, I don't think that there's anything that but like you should practice something until you can't do it wrong. For sure.
Or the majority, not like ever wrong. You
because
nothing's ever perfect, but focus on your strength versus your your weaknesses.
I think like for me, Hinaldo and I, our teaching style has completely changed. Completely changed over the last couple of years. And the way that we see things, the way that we dance, the way that we feel even with each other when we're dancing has completely changed. So when I did start teaching, we taught way different than our theory is right now. And that's what I love about dance, because it's always changing. It's this growing like live thing that always changes, always evolves, and is never technically right, wrong, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's what's feeling good at that moment.
Yeah.
So I think for the people that want to be instructors and like they really have a true passion for it, this is the thing that with our social dance community, and I'm not so much in the hip hop and contemporary and the modern community as like I used to be, but in the social dance community, there's this huge vanity, obviously, of oh my god, that instructor is at this congress, and they went here and they went there and da da da, and even people tell me still like, oh my god, you're traveling, or you've done this, you've done that. Like honestly, in the last year was probably the last year that I really got brought to go teach places. Yeah. Before that, it was always like, I did get invited. Yeah. I never really reached out and said, hey, can I come teach or whatever. I did that maybe once or twice. Yeah. But I was always paid something. Yeah. When I went. So I never really went for free. Yeah. But a lot of people, a lot of instructors, they pay their own way. Yeah. They pay their own way to, get that kind of like equity. Yeah. That put in that work. Yeah. I don't think that anyone that starts teaching should think that just because they look a certain way or whatever that it's going to come like that. Yeah. Because it's not. Yeah. And I think that if you truly love the dance, salsa, bachata, urban kids, zouk, West Coast swing, whatever it is, if you truly love it and you have a passion for it, then you need to see, one, where do you stand in the whole community? Yeah. And two, like, how can you make a difference? And why do you want to do that? Also, three, know that you're not going to make money. Yeah. Like, it is, like, it's not something that you're going to go and be a millionaire at unless, you can. Yeah. I mean, there's like a 0.001% chance that you're going to be the next, like, Ataka now. Yeah. Somebody who gets paid to travel around the world to teach dance. Exactly. But that's very rare. That's not what you're in here for. Yeah, but like, I think, you need to know what you want to do. Yeah. Do you want to be a community instructor who stays local, isn't necessarily super well known, but builds a community? Yeah. Do you want to be an international instructor? Do you want to be that person that goes everywhere and is recognized for all those things? Do you want to be an organizer? Yeah. Do you want to have performance teams and competition teams? Because all of those things are completely separate. And I have learned, and I have crashed and burned with all of these things and realizing these things. And I used to be like, well, why can't I do everything? Because I can do everything. And I did everything. Yeah. But it also killed me. Yeah. Doing everything. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's because, I mean, I don't say that you can't do that. I just feel like building to something that large takes time. Yeah. And I feel, especially with what you learn, doing too much. Yeah. All at once is not a smart idea. Because that entire thing is just self-awareness, understanding what you're getting out of this in the first place. Because if you're looking for money, you're in the wrong space. No. Unless you're unbelievably talented and invest the time and the work, you're not going to get that. Yeah. It's very unlikely for you to get that. Yeah, and again, and I don't want to be negative about it because I think that everyone could. And no, and that's something I want to correct. Like when it comes to especially the one about making money. Yeah. That there's an inherent amount of work. Oh, hey, by the way, before I go any further, but we have a little guest here with Presley. Hi, Presley. Hi, Presley. Okay, he's going now. Please don't tell me that you have left us a present. Okay. Okay, cool. But anyway, sorry for that small interruption. But yeah, when it comes to making money, like if that's what you're here for dance, there's two things I feel you can really have a lot of control over, like how much time you're investing, how much basically work you're investing in. Yeah. But the one thing you can't take is talent. If you don't have that natural talent to be one of the world's greatest dancers, if you don't have the talent to be a great business person, to run probably one of the biggest festivals in the country, or things like that, that's a talent, and that there's only so far work will get you, but if you recognize you're good at certain things, again, that self-awareness, understanding what you're good at and what you're getting it for, and knowing that just because you don't
it's okay if you don't want to be the best dancer.
Yeah.
Again, like you were saying, if you just want to be a local community instructor and you just get a lot of joy because you're not doing this for the money, then that's where that comes from. But I feel like a lot of people can do a lot of things.
Yes.
But that takes time. That takes building a team, resources, and stuff. So that's I understand, and I feel like you're completely capable of doing that. I just probably not doing it all at once.
Yes.
And I mean, you're starting to grow a larger presence where I feel like eventually, like if anything, like I mean, you already have your own team, you have your own social that you're getting started. You've already branched up to doing like long weekenders where you're getting instructors come in and teach you. Like you're growing. Even if you say you can't do these things, it just takes you more time.
So, there's always a backstory. Yeah. So what people see is not always what's actually happening. Yeah. So just being candid, I don't have my team right now. Okay. And this last year, we lost a lot of students. Our weekenders were successful in a way, but not as successful as they could have been. Yes. So actually, and it's really funny because a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, you're doing so many things this year." Yeah. I'm really not. Yeah. I actually this last year was probably the worst year of business for us. Yeah. And it's been a really big teachable year. Yeah. As we're coming to a close and I'm finally realizing things. Yeah. But I think there's no reason that anyone can do everything. Yeah. If you want to do it. Yeah. But
be realistic with your goals.
Yeah, be realistic of your goals and also of what you're capable of doing at the moment. Yeah. I think that that Hinaldo and I both bit off more than we could chew. Yeah. We grew really fast. Yeah. And we were super successful. Our business, our Zouk Vibes was really successful, and I still see it being successful. Yes. But we didn't have the manpower. Yeah. To sustain the teams and to sustain the classes and this and all this other stuff. So going into the next year, we are going to reconfigure ourselves and see what happens. Yeah. And I don't think that's a bad thing. No. I think that I actually have it over there. What do you call it? Problems are not stop signs; they're guidelines. Yeah. And I think also when you failures are just redirections. You know. And I'm trying to remember that in myself. I try not to be, pessimistic and say, well, maybe I'm just not meant to do this. I think that I need to find my goal again. Even at right now, you're saying oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. I want to find what my goal is now because just being super honest, I'm not exactly sure anymore. Which
is perfectly fine. And it's good to have that setback and really take the time to really just have that time for yourself and understand yourself. And I agree with you, especially having to take a step back, having to scale down because you didn't have the the resources to keep that kind of progress up. Not that I don't think you're capable of, just again, you'd have to work that around.
You literally a really good example of a well-oiled machine is rhythmic fusion. Oh yeah. Holy crap. And I had the privilege of being on that team and teaching with them for about a year, and I got to see that. And Mike has really grew this culture of a family and really grew a culture of a really good team and everyone feels really well. I know he has easily 100 and something students.
Oh yeah.
Easily. But he has a team, people there teaching for him. Yeah. He has people there running his social media. Yeah. He has people there helping him with his finances and this and that. And he has a team that he has taken a long time to build, to grow, to get to. Yeah. And I want to say, I think their last one was their kind of their 10-year anniversary, you think, of Rhythmic Fusion? Or his, 8, I don't know, but it was a big milestone for him. And it just goes to show how long it took to get there. Yeah. And he's not even doing socials. He's not doing events or anything either. He's just doing
his team
and classes And he has the occasional workshops that he does, and then he travels to teach himself.
Yeah. And
but imagine that.
Yeah, and I mean, he recently started branching into doing RF socials. Like, he had one, and he's, like, talking about doing another, which I'm, like, super happy and excited.
Yeah, for sure.
I actually see Mike very highly for, like, what he's been doing. But, yes, it's taken him a lot of time, and he's built that infrastructure around him.
Exactly.
And, I mean, I feel like, a lot of us are capable of doing that. That's what we choose to do. And that's something I believe that you can do. And I feel like you probably, without knowing it, are probably already setting yourself up towards that, because you're doing what Mike knows and is already doing, and that's building a community, like people who are staying with him. And that's why I really encourage building, like, you know, how much you're reaching out to the community and being more involved, because and it's something that I literally just even posted about, like, for anyone who watches this relatively soon. I recently just posted a video on, like, the fact that, like, when businesses invest back into the community, then they'll invest more into the business, because they feel like, you know, it feels mutual. Yeah. And I feel like you're already doing that, and that's why sometimes, like, that's one of the things, like, I as much as I really want to help you out, like, I lost where I was going to go with this. Yeah, no, it just skipped me as I was saying it. Damn.
Sorry.
Yeah, I know. We keep track of time. We're both busy people.
No, you're okay.
But yes, I seriously can't remember where I was going to go with that. But yeah, I
encourage me to keep doing. I'm building a community.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Now I got it back. Okay. Yes. And so, like, sometimes I feel like even the Zouk community is growing, but I don't feel like, obviously, it's at the place where, like, salsa and bachata are.
No. Nowhere near it.
I feel like that's another big thing that I kind of like obviously we're running low on time, so this is definitely a topic I really want to touch on, at least, is you know, I feel like it's still a problem in the dance community where a lot of people talk poorly about other dance styles.
Yeah.
And because of that becomes a detriment to a lot of people who honestly want to try it. Mm-hmm. Like, honestly, I would even say, like, the first couple of years when I got, like, really started learning about Zouk, I wasn't super invested in wanting to learn it, because a lot of the close people around me would constantly make fun of it, because they didn't respect it as much.
Yeah. And that's why I didn't want to be a teacher. I mean, no, not that I didn't want to be a teacher, but that's why it was so hard to be a teacher, because of that. Of,
like, that negative perception and the judgment and stuff. And that's one of the things that I really want to fight against. And for, like, the entire community. Like, there's so many, you know, and it goes in every direction. I've seen so many salsa people bash bachata for not being, like, a technical dance. I see so many bachata dancers, you know, back at the salsa dancers for being, like, you know, nose up in the air, like, about it. I've seen, you know, people who look at Zouk, both salsa and bachata, they both do it, for, like, looking at Zouk and thinking it's just this flowy dance where people get injured.
People get injured.
I mean, there's some truth to a lot of things. Yeah, I know. I'm just like, bachata people shouldn't be talking. But and then even with, like, you know, urban kids, like, a lot of people look at that and they're like, this is like a lamer version of tango.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. And I feel like, like, I understand if you don't like it, that's fine. That's
your opinion.
It's your opinion. You don't have to like it. But I feel like there's so much negativity put against a dance style you don't agree with, that a lot of people are sometimes not inclined to learn and be more open about a new dance style.
Yeah. So I don't know if you remember, but I remember you always coming. I had my own social a while ago. God. The worst name in the world.
I still remember
Whoever let me do that.
In fact, it's literally like as I was driving here to meet you. I don't know why. I remember that. I'm like, I loved when I used to support you.
Yeah, but it was like, so the idea of Ellipse was all styles, one room, everyone come and dance. Yeah. Because that's what I do, and I love it. And I think that I love the fact that I can go to any congress, go into any room, and dance any style. Yeah. And it's not because I'm a really good dancer. It's because I respect it enough to know the basics and want to follow. Yeah. You know? And that was the idea with that social, was that let's just bring awareness. That's it. Like, I would have me teaching Zouk, And then I would have guest instructors.
Yeah.
So I'd have a guest instructor for salsa. I would have a guest instructor for bachata. I had Ruben Ochoa one time. I had Edward and Jessica.
You constantly had a rotation of a new style, like every
Cara Maracas came. What do you call it? I had Ivo and Shani, of course. Yeah. I had a kids instructor. I had Bertha when she was teaching kids. And it didn't go it went like almost a year.
Yeah.
I never lost money. And but like the point was mutual respect for the dances.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm really proud to be a part of Reno Latin Dance Fest. Yeah. And I was really humbled when they asked me to come and do the Zouk and Urban Kids side, because it's such a huge platform for just everyone respecting each other.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's so funny that you're like saying that a lot of people just see Zouk as a dance that people flow and get injured.
Do the neck roll.
Yeah, no. Fun fact, right before I went to Brazil, a bachata dancer dipped me and I had a pinched nerve in my neck right before I went to Brazil. So it doesn't matter what type of, it doesn't matter. You can get hurt in any kind of dance. Yeah. But
accidents happen.
Yeah, but the point is that if you're a dancer, and also if you're an instructor, especially if you're a dancer, if you're an instructor, you should know how to do the basics of any of those Latin dances. Yeah. You should. When I was a salsa dancer, I felt like a fraud because I was like, I don't know on two. Yeah. So I started to figure out on two. Yeah. And am I that great at it? No. But can I follow it? Yeah. Bachata. What do you call it? In the traditional style, because Dominican bachata is bachata, people.
Yes.
What do you call it? Traditional style. Urban bachata sensual. Yeah. Like, you should be able to follow any of it. And then, like, in Zouk, we have Lamba Zouk. We have Rio Zouk. You should be able to adapt to all of it. Kizomba, because there's Kizomba. There's Kiz. There's Urban Kiz. All these things. At the end of the day, we're all dancers. Yeah. We all love dance. We all express ourselves through this dance, no matter what style it is. And there needs to be more of this just respect. Yeah. And if you want to try something, and I think that's like when I first started teaching, my goal was really to go out and dance. And I remember the day that somebody was like, "You're that Zouk girl, right?" And I was like, and it was like, it was a cool feeling because I was like, okay, like they're figuring it out, you know, like Zouk is gonna become a thing. Yeah. And, like my point of going out and doing that, I wanted people to see that I love salsa just as much. Yeah. And I love bachata just as much. And I love all these styles just as much. There needs to be like,
yeah, and it's funny, as much as it's funny, like, I've gotten a similar thing where everyone knows me as the bachata dancer. And like, while I do dance bachata predominantly. Sure. I actually don't like being known as that. Actually, that's one of the things that actually slightly bothers me.
Oh, really?
Because, actually, yeah. Because it's one of those things, well, for me, I don't, like, I want to be open. Well, obviously, I don't really know too much of Zouk and Urban Kids. Sure. But I do want to learn more about them because I just haven't had the time and the money to invest in it. Of course. But, like, I enjoy them. Like, I like them. And I've given them a try. I've shown up to Ellipse and Zouk Vibes for you. I go out and I try to when I can. You know, sometimes a lot of them will give me shit for going into the kids' room, but I try sometimes. Yeah. And Brandon. But yeah, I try whenever I can, in like at Unified and Zouk Chop and stuff. But yeah, I think it's, I want to be known just as a dancer. I love dancing. Like, it's one of the things, like, and that's one of the reasons why, like, I even do this. Like, I want to spread more awareness that I just love dance, and I feel people should be more open about what they want to get out of dancing. Yes. And so, yeah, like, sure, if you know me mostly for bachata and you mostly enjoy dancing with bachata with me, then fine. But if I'm at a Zouk show, please grab me for a Zouk dance. Sometimes I'm a little scared. If I'm in the quiz room or in the salsa room, I actually do like trying other dances. Yeah. And so I want more people to be more open about that. Oh
God, I was going to say something, but I think that that was what I was going to say. So I did my own interview this last weekend with Guy Prada, and he's known as the universe behind the hug instructor. He's so much more than that. He's an amazing instructor, has a lot of years behind him in Zouk and dance and connection and technique and all this stuff. And I really wanted to like kind of break that stigma for him and also for like the connection and technique side. And one thing that he said to me that really stuck with me is that what your goal as a dancer is different from my goal.
Yeah.
What makes you feel good is different from what's going to make me feel good.
Yeah.
So if you want to look amazing and if you want to be an amazing salsa dancer and that's what makes you happy, awesome.
Yeah.
Then good for you.
Yeah.
But don't put me down for what makes me happy.
Yeah.
This is my goal. This is my goal as a dancer. This is what makes me happy. This is what I like. I don't need to be amazing at what you do and need to look the same way as you. We just need to have common respect.
Yeah.
Like, you need to look at a person in, one time, and I made a post about it a long time ago, and in the dancer, he's amazing on two dancer, but he was like, isn't on two life awesome? He said that to me one time, during a dance, and I was like, no, all dance is good.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just the idea of having, like, that maybe is not my goal.
Yeah.
My goal is maybe not to be an amazing on two dancer. Maybe my goal is to be an amazing LA style on one dancer.
Yeah.
Maybe my goal is to be known as a traditional bachata dancer.
Yeah.
But if everyone realizes and stops, pardon my friends, talking shit on everyone else's genres of dance, then we would grow immensely.
Oh, yeah.
We would grow so much more in this community, in this world, and there wouldn't have to be this, like, Zouk is that dance that you're going to go and get hurt.
Yeah, like if there was just less judgment, like I feel like, and people felt more welcome, more people would do more things and they would invest more in things like
and that was my goal with Zouk Vibes, is that I wanted people to feel welcome. And that's like when we were making the name, like that was even what went into it. Like what makes people feel good vibrations, good vibes, you know? So that was our goal, is like to create a community and create something where no matter who you were, beginner, advanced, whatever, you could come in, you can feel welcome.
Yeah.
And I would like to say, and I'm happy to say, I think still, that we still cultivate that kind of atmosphere. Yeah. Everyone, if you're an instructor, should be trying to do that. Yeah. They should be creating that kind of atmosphere where it feels like a home, or it feels like a family, it feels like a friendship, it feels welcoming. Yeah. Because that's how you grow. That's how you grow a community. Yeah. So
I mean, I can only talk from just like the consumer side because I'm not an instructor.
Yeah.
But I do agree with it from this end, that for the people who I feel like invest more in us, like people who are like really standing up for us when anything goes wrong with us at a social, or anybody who's like investing time just to say hi, or you know it's the little things that people do that I'll invest more time to, you know, and that's actually, and you know, even just when it comes to the dance styles, like that's also one of the reasons why I like Unified and Zucchata are probably two of the socials I never miss, because it's one of the two socials that I know that actually have multiple rooms. Hey, you like doing salsa? There's a room for you. Yeah. Hey, you like doing bachata? Here's a bachata room. You like dancing Zouk? Here's a Zouk room. Yeah. And I feel like, you know, and like obviously, you know, it depends on the venue and stuff like that. Obviously, you've tried mixing it all in, but you usually only have one room, and so you mix it in as much as you can. Yeah. And I welcome that, and I appreciate that. That's why I love whenever I go to. In my
ideal world, there'd be one room, and there'd be all music all the time. Yeah. And that'd be my ideal life. But
it's funny because like as much as I would love that, and I like idealistically I'd want that, but realistically I don't believe that's ever possible, because not everyone likes to dance. Like again, it's one of those things. I don't want to put a salsa dancer into a room where even if you're playing everything equally, if he's only there for salsa, then he only gets to dance 1/4 of the time.
I guess so.
Yeah. I think. And that's why, like, I don't want to force somebody to grow where they don't want to. They should.
No, it's not a should.
Well, no, it's not like a should. Well, a lot of people feel like they should sometimes, and I don't want to put that on them either. Like, I don't want to tell somebody they need to or should learn bachata if they honestly don't want to. Yeah. Fuck bachata. Like, if you don't like dancing bachata, don't ever fucking take a class. Yeah. If you really, really, really don't like it. Yeah. Like, fine. Like, I'm not going to judge you for that. Yeah. Right? And that's why, like, but I like having the option available. So that's why I feel personally, from like my perspective, I feel like the ones that have the best opportunity, the ones that provide, like if you just want to dance salsa, there's your salsa room. Or even like, and it's even better sometimes when like, oh, I just like, I'm dancing bachata, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. I want to do a salsa, or I want to do I like that freedom.
And I totally respect. I respect that you like that freedom. What I would like is, and the reason why I would say like, it would be nice to like be in one room and have everything. It doesn't have to be an all the time thing. I think what it does is that it just mixes the scenes. Yeah. And it makes people talk to people that they wouldn't normally talk to. It maybe even makes them realize, oh, hey, you dance Zouk, but you're actually dancing salsa right now. Oh, that's cool. Like,
I guess that is true. And it's funny because actually somebody brought that up to me recently, who I was chatting through an email, and they were mentioning how like they dislike how like even if it is a room or like a social that has multiple dance styles, there's like not enough incentive for people to even like really get to know each other. Like,
yeah, exactly. Exactly, and I've actually been like taking the time lately at my own socials. We're gonna have to wrap this up in a second, but I've been taking time at my own socials lately to not dance and to actually just sit and talk with people because I realized that I wasn't really doing that. Yeah. And even at like other socials, I'm trying to dance less and talk to people more. One, because I'm actually a lot more introverted than a lot of people think that I am. I like to sit in my cocoon of a room and not talk to people.
It's okay. Yeah, I'm very much the opposite.
I'm way more introverted than I like to give myself credit for, or that I have ever really realized. But I'm challenging myself when I'm in that sphere to talk to more people. So no matter if I go to a salsa bachata social, go and talk to people. Zouk, go talk to people because I don't go to kids socials. I need to. Also, time and money. Yes. But next year is like the goal to at least go to at least one dance style social a month. Yeah. Like I don't have to go every week. Yeah. I'm currently at Legacy every Tuesday for salsa and bachata, so I think I got that one covered. Yeah. But if I can go to at least one other Zouk social other than my own, and a kids social other than my own, or even a West Coast swing social, something.
That would be great.
Yeah, and that's kind of my goal for the next year is just to branch out and see what else is out there and talk to people and have human interaction with people. That's one of my goals for the next year because then I get to figure out like how I want to make my studio. Do I still want to make my studio? Who wants to invest in my studio? Yeah. But things like that. But
yes,
I think common goal is my theory as an instructor, my theory as a person in the social media realm and everything is just mutual respect.
Mutual respect, yes.
And I'm really bad. Sometimes I judge a lot harder than I realize that I do, and then I have to catch myself. I'm trying to get a lot better at that. Don't worry. We all need just mutual respect within the dance communities. And not everyone is going to learn as fast. Yeah. Some people are going to start being instructors before we think that they're ready for it, but it's their journey, it's not ours. If we make the better product, then so be it. People will come to us. And, having just that mutual respect and drive to want to push our dancing forward. That's all I want in this world.
Same. I just want to create a better space for everybody. Exactly. For whatever they're looking for. So thank you so much for spending time with me.
Thank you for even wanting to spend time with me.
Oh, believe me, this is not the one and off thing. Like I definitely have more conversations to have with you. And so, but yes, thank you so much for your time. Obviously, you guys can find her at Zouk Vibes and Marissa.
You can find me on Facebook, Marissa Rivera Dance, or my Facebook page, Zouk Vibes is our other Facebook page, Zouk Vibes. ZoukVibesOC.com if you want to look us up. Also on Instagram, you can find me Marissa Rivera Zouk or Zouk Vibes on Instagram. I think that's it. Also, check out Reno Latin Dance Fest.
Yes,
it's coming up, people.
So please buy your tickets.
Yes,
and we'll both see you there. Okay, we'll both go.
Yay! Good. Oh yeah, Los Amigos.
So yes. So and if anything before we wrap this up, do you have any question you'd like to ask everybody who's listening? Either what's something they can reach out to us, or something they probably could think about.
Oh shit. Yeah. That's different.
And I'm putting you on the spot real quickly at the last minute.
No, it's okay. A question
could be
that
very
I want to ask
simple
them.
Or whatever.
What's raining? God. Okay, I'm just gonna say the first thing that comes to my mind. What can we do as instructors to make people want to come to class?
Okay. Yeah.
Want to come to a regular class? What is it that what is it that we could do to help you want to come to class more?
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's a wonderful question.
I think so too.
Yes. So please reach out to us individually or just, whatever on wherever you find this. And so, yes, thank you so much for your time. And yes, and hopefully together we'll grow a better community. And yes, we'll see you on the dance floor.
Bye.
Bye. Hey guys, thanks for listening to the episode. If you guys are interested also for following Marissa, she's also having her third year anniversary for Zouk Vibes, December 27th, if you can make it to that. And again, if you guys are going to Reno, make sure to buy your tickets soon because the prices, I think, are going up for their last sale. And I hope to see you there. And if you enjoyed the podcast, of course, please subscribe. And I'll keep coming out with as videos as often as I can. And thank you for listening, and please share it if you can. That's how we'll grow this community. Please be involved. And thank you so much for your support. 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 Thank you so much for your support.